Dito sa nasa. Good morning, honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I have great pleasure in welcoming you to the University of Nottingham, Malaysia's graduation ceremony. I hope that you enjoy this day. Also, at today's ceremony, it gives us great pleasure to confer the honorary degree of Doctors of Law to Yang Berbahagia Datuk B. Chun Chuan, founder and chairman of BP Healthcare Group. As this is a formal occasion, may I seek your kind cooperation in ensuring the smooth flow and order of the ceremony with the following. Firstly, please ensure that all your mobile phones are either switched off or on silent mode throughout the ceremony. Secondly, kindly remain in your seats throughout the ceremony. And finally, please note that photography is permitted but only from your seats. At the end of the ceremony, after the members of the platform have left the hall, all students are required to follow the processions out of this hall and allow the photographers to organize your group photography. All other guests, kindly remain in your seat until further notice. Guests are also cordially invited to join the officers of the university, staff and graduates for a buffet reception which will be served at the marquee at the Academic Plaza, outside of this building. Our ushers will be on hand to direct you accordingly. Thank you for your kind attention. Honored guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, may I please ask you to kindly rise for the entry of the procession.
Chun Chian and Dato Pole Si, Professor Fon Sim Ong, Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning, Professor Deborah Hall, Vice Provost for Research and Knowledge Exchange, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. I declare this congregation open for the conferment of degrees and awards of diplomas. It is my honour to welcome you all to this graduation ceremony of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you today. I always find these ceremonies a moment in your life that you should remember. And I think even more so these days, because as you enter the world of work or into further education, but certainly the people entering the world of work, you're entering into arguably the beginning of, or well into the fourth industrial revolution. And that's fundamentally going to change many people's lives. Unlike when I entered the world of work, you could expect to go into the same company and work within that company for the rest of your life. I don't think that will be the case for many, if not all of you. Back in 1955, the top a Fortune 500 company had a life expectancy of 55 years. That's not the case anymore. A Fortune 500 company these days has a life expectancy of only 15 years. So if you go and work in a startup, even if it progresses very quickly and becomes of the stature of a Fortune 500 company, you can only expect that company to last an average of 15 years. And that's quite frightening. If you look at what's happened in the last 10, 15 years, you've had companies such as Airbnb come along. They're the biggest hotel company in the world. They don't own any hotels. You look at Facebook, they're the biggest content provider in the world. They don't create any content themselves. Uber, Grab, My Car, they're the biggest taxi providers in the world, but don't own any taxis. And that's all down to, I would argue, not the fourth industrial revolution, but certainly a part of that change. And I think if I look at my own sector, if I look at higher education, we still are very much a traditional provider in the way that we provide. We give 50-minute lectures, we make you sit exams, and then after 3 years, we give you a piece of paper that says you've attained whatever class of degree you've achieved. That's our traditional model. That's been the model for hundreds of years. That, in my view, will change. Over the next 5-10 years, the higher education sector, like the hotel industry, the social media industry, the taxi industry, will fundamentally change. And actually, we, as a university, need to lead that change. If we don't lead that change, we could be in a position in 10 years' time where the biggest university in the world doesn't exist at the moment, in the same way that Uber and Airbnb didn't exist 10 years ago, and now they're the biggest players in the industry. And I think it's beholden on people like you to make sure that you lead industries rather than try and follow the trends. Paul Rennie, who's the Deputy High Commissioner the UK Deputy High Commissioner to Malaysia, based in Kuala Lumpur, he tells a story, and he's reflecting on things like this, about the stagecoach operators. And the stagecoach operators operated for hundreds of years in the same way that the higher education sector has operated for hundreds of years. And when the railways come along, that industry was wiped out almost in an instant, certainly within a few years. But it wasn't the stagecoach operators that were running the railways. It was a new breed of industrialists. So the stagecoach operators suddenly found themselves without a job, without a source of income, and the railway operators went from strength to strength. And I do fear that the higher education sector is at that point in time at the moment. And I think the higher education sector recognises that. And we all talk about we need to do something about it, but we're not quite sure what, because we don't know what the fourth industrial revolution will do for us. We're not sure how artificial intelligence, machine learning, ubiquitous computing, immersive reality, robotics, all of those things which we're talking about in the fourth industrial revolution, how that will change. And the big thing about the fourth industrial revolution, in my view, is that it will merge the physical and the digital worlds. And we've never done that before. We've been through the first industrial revolution, which was exemplified by steam, and we could see what that was doing. The second industrial revolution, electronics, we could see what that did, and it really just changed a small part. The fourth industrial revolution is going to fundamentally change the way we work and live, to the point where I don't believe in 10, 15, 20 years' time, I don't know, I would hate to predict it, you won't know whether you're living in the digital or the physical world. You may know, but actually it may be so merged that it's really difficult to discern unless you really think about it. So I think as you enter the world of work, you face some real challenges. You face some real challenges, but you should treat them as opportunities. And there's jobs out there, or there will be jobs out there, which haven't even been invented yet. Another statistic says that 23% of children in primary school will enter the world of work and do a job which hasn't even been invented yet. And I can see that. There's jobs now, search engine optimization manager, artificial intelligence ethics manager, social media manager. They didn't exist 10 years ago. And as the world increases its speed in which it embraces technology, that will only change. Graham Wood, nearly 10 years ago in 2009, said, "Change has never happened this fast before, and it will never be this slow again." And I think that's true. If I look back at the last 10 years, the change of technology has been increasing exponentially. We can relate it to something like Moore's Law, which said the computing power would double every year. We can relate it to that type of phenomena. But it will never be this slow again. It's only going to get increasingly it's going to only get increasingly faster. And it's beholden on people like you going into the workplace to recognise that and to actually use it to your advantage. And I'll talk a little bit more about later on about maybe some ways that can be done. Just want to talk about our campus here. I've been, I guess, addressing our graduates, maybe address friends and family. The University of Nottingham, Malaysia has been here since 2000. We now celebrate our 18th year. We're going to celebrate that in August, so next month. So we'll celebrate 18 years here in the 8th month of 2018, which anyone's got any numerology knowledge will know that that's very significant. So we're going to celebrate that. So I encourage you to keep an eye on our celebrations through social media. You are sitting in the Trent building, and every University of Nottingham campus, so our one in the UK, the one in Malaysia here, and the one in China, all have a Trent building. And those buildings are named after Baron Trent, who was Jesse Boot, who donated the first piece of land to the university, which enabled the University of Nottingham UK campus to develop from. And Jesse Boot was one of the pioneers behind the Boots pharmaceutical companies, which will resonate with some of our guests here today. And if there's an iconic picture of the University of Nottingham, it's the Trent building reflected in the lake in the UK. You can only get that picture probably about once every 10 years because you need the sun shining, which doesn't happen very often. You don't need any wind, which doesn't happen very often. And you need the right lighting conditions. So there is iconic pictures of the university. I've been at the university for nearly 20 years, and I've never managed to get that picture. But that's the iconic picture. So as you celebrate today with the graduates, please go and get a picture with the Trent building, because that's the iconic picture of the University of Nottingham. And later on, you will be given the opportunity for a group picture with the Trent building as a backdrop. I would also encourage you to get a picture with the lake, because that's the other iconic feature of the University of Nottingham. And if you can get both pictures, the lake and the Trent building, then that's a good picture. It's a bit more difficult here because the Trent building and the lake are a little bit separated from each other. But there's many other opportunities on this beautiful campus to get fantastic pictures, and I would encourage you to explore the campus. Go and try and find a picture which maybe no one else has got. One picture I can recommend is we have behind the Student Association building, we have a Nottingham sign, and that's becoming an iconic picture. Go and stand on the bridge with the Nottingham sign in the background. If you do that, please post it on social media, because we welcome any feature, anything we can do to get Nottingham up on social media in a good way. So returning back to our graduands, you obviously believe that knowledge is important and education is important, otherwise you wouldn't be sitting here today. I think the other advice I would give you at this point is the other thing that you should treat as very important is time. Time is very important because everyone has got the same amount of time. We've all got a finite amount of time, and you should use it as well as possible. At a graduation ceremony in 2005, the late Steve Jobs of Apple said, death is very likely the single best invention of life. It's life's change agent. It clears out the old to make way for the new. Right now, the new is you. But someday, not too long from now, you will gradually become the old and be cleared away. Sorry about that. He goes on to say, sorry to be so dramatic, but it's quite true. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living somebody else's life. And I can resonate with that. I mean, Steve Jobs is obviously one of the most famous computer scientists that's lived. I can resonate with that. And when I look back on my life, I've been at the University of Nottingham for 20 years. It doesn't seem 20 years since I started at the university. So as you leave here, many of you are young and starting on your careers, but time is limited. So don't waste it living somebody else's life. Do what is best for you and make the best use of the time that you can. Thank you. The only other piece of advice I'll give you, in a moment we're going to continue the ceremony. There's certain words I have to say, otherwise you won't get a degree, because this is a formal event. So you should be pleased when you hear me go into very formal mode. But this is mainly a celebration for you and for family and friends. So when I invite you in a few moments to walk across the stage, please smile, because you're going to have a picture which is going to last the rest of your lifetime. And also, don't worry about what happens as you cross the stage. People fall over all the time. You're all thinking, I hope it's not going to be me, but I hope someone does, and I can understand that. I hope it's nobody. I hope it's nobody, but if you fall over, don't worry. We've seen it, we know how to help you. So please, it's a celebration. It is a formal occasion, but it's a celebration, so please enjoy the rest of your day. I'm now pleased to invite the Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning at the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, Professor Fong Sim Ong, to address you.
Professor Graham Candle, Pro-Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Provost and CEO of the Nottingham, Malaysia, Yang Berbahagia Datuk Bay Chun Chuan, and Datin Polasi, Professor Deborah Hall, Vice Provost for Research and Knowledge Exchange, distinguished guests, graduates, ladies and gentlemen. I'm honored to be standing before you today at your graduation ceremony. Compared to you, I took a slightly different route to the university. I was a matured student. However, I believe that I went back to university with a single purpose, that is hoping to get a well-paid job. Today, I believe that you come to the university to spend your time with us, not just to get a well-paid job, but you want something else. You want to chase your dreams. Nothing wrong with chasing dreams, for it is only if you dare to dream that your dreams will come true. Education has transformed my life, and I'm sure it will transform yours. For all of us know that education has the ability to transform lives. The education you receive up to this point can only provide you with a foundation for you to build your career. And I believe that University of Nottingham, we have imparted our knowledge to you, but more importantly, I think we have also shown you and teach you how to learn. How to learn is important because, as we know today, we will never stop learning. So, therefore, it is up to you to take full advantage of the opportunities that graduating from the University of Nottingham presents. You are now on another journey, having just completed the previous one. In life, there are many important markers or life events in our life. Graduation is just one of them. You have many more miles to go and many more life events to encounter. You may even face obstacles and difficulties, or even failures that make you unsure of yourself. Do not despair, and please remember what Thomas Edison has to say. He said, "I have not failed, I have just found 10,000 ways that don't work." So with passion, courage, and the right attitude, you can overcome hurdles and difficulties. When Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company that he started, at the age of 30 years old, he was devastated, I'm sure, but he loved what he did, and so he started Next. The Toy Story was created. Years later, Apple bought Next, and Steve Jobs returned to Apple. So you might already know this story, and what I'm saying it here again, you know it too well. However, I would like you to look beyond it and to understand the meaning of life. You chose the University of Nottingham. Some of you just about a year ago, some 3 and some 4. Some of you may have been here even longer. You have spent some of your most formative years in this university. We hope that we, especially my colleagues who are represented on stage, have helped you take your first steps in your journey, and that you are now able to stand on your own feet to begin the next journey in life. Let me assure you that you have chosen one of the finest universities, the University of Nottingham. The University of Nottingham is ranked in the top 100 universities in the world, placing it in the top 1% of universities. The University of Nottingham, as you know, we have 3 campuses, one in the UK, one in Malaysia, one in China. So from here, you can see that the University of Nottingham plays a leading role in the internationalization of higher education. Our UK campus can be traced back to 1881. None of us was born during that time. So the University of Nottingham is also the first British university to establish in Malaysia. We have been here for almost 18 years. Our campus in China will be celebrating its 13th anniversary this year. So around 25% of the university students now study in either the China or the Malaysia campus. Nottingham is truly distinctive in its focus and reach, global reach. And wherever you are in the world, you will never be far away from somebody who has studied at the University of Nottingham. Now I would like to turn to some of the awards that we give. So each year, the university makes a number of awards. We would like to recognize some of these award winners. The Nottingham Advantage Award. The Nottingham Advantage Award is designed to give formal recognition to student involvement in activities outside the academic program, and is indeed to increase their employability and add value to their overall experience at the University of Nottingham. Students must demonstrate significant achievement by undertaking a range of activities which could include volunteering, work experience, study abroad, language learning, enterprise projects, career planning, and activities supported by the Students' Association. The names of the recipients are listed in the special awards page of the graduation booklet. The Vice-Chancellor's Global Graduate Prize. In addition to completing modules for the Nottingham Advantage Award, students on all 3 campuses are able to compete for the Vice-Chancellor's Global Award Prize. This year, supported by the Vice-Chancellor, recognizes an individual student for his or her global graduate attributes. The winner for this award for this year is from the Malaysia campus. Congratulations to Faloni Chin Pei Ling, who graduated this year in Finance, Accounting and Management. Before I conclude, I cannot do better than to quote Steve Jobs. Now, we like to quote Steve Jobs because, it relates to the millennials. Yeah? He said, "Have the courage to follow your heart and intuition. They somehow know what you truly want to become. So be passionate about what you do, stick to your dreams and chase it." I hope that your award from the University of Nottingham and the knowledge and skills that you have developed will have a positive impact on your career, as well as enabling you to achieve your personal goals. Many congratulations on your award. I hope you will enjoy the rest of the day with your family and friends who have supported you in many ways throughout your study. I wish you every success. Thank you.
Thank you, Von Sim. This morning we welcome a very distinguished guest who is to receive an honorary degree of this university. I have great pleasure in asking Professor Andrew Morris to present Yang Bahagia Dato Bay Chun Chuan.
Pro-Vice-Chancellor and Provost, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to present to you for an honorary degree Dato Bay Chun Chuan. Dato Bay is the founder and chairman of the BP Healthcare Group, which comprises a diverse collection of highly successful companies, including, to name just a few, specialist and diagnostic centres, pharmacies, mobile healthcare, medical waste management, right the way through to a fine dining restaurant and a polo club. Dato Bay is the founder of Pantai Hospital Ipoh and also the founder and shareholder of Sunway City Ipoh, Sundringham Berhad, and Rubber Thread Industries, Sundringham Berhad, which holds management controlling stakes in Megafirst Corporation Berhad. Dato Bay Chun Chuan, the youngest of 7 siblings, was born in Bagan Serai, Perak, 1 year before Merdeka. He went to primary and lower secondary school in Bagan Serai, and then secondary school at St Michael's Institution in Ipoh. Dato Bay received a Bachelor of Science from the University of St Thomas, after which he returned to Malaysia, where he undertook postgraduate studies in medical microbiology. It was during this latter period that Dato Bay was awarded a prestigious fellowship from the Southeast Asia Ministry of Education Organisation Regional Centre for Tropical Medicine. With the experience gained during this fellowship, Dato Bay established his first BP clinical lab in 1982 in modest surroundings. A photograph of this first small laboratory now hangs proudly on the wall of the state-of-the-art BP Specialist Centre at Glenmarie, a reminder of just how far the company has developed. The BP Healthcare Group grew rapidly through the 1980s, and during this period, Dato Bay gained an MBA from Golden Gate University in San Francisco. Following further expansion of the business from 1994, when the first BP Diagnostic Centre opened, the group has now grown to become one of Malaysia's leading integrated healthcare providers and is now reaching out into the wider ASEAN region. The University of Nottingham has collaborated very closely with the BP Healthcare Group for a number of years, and this has been formalised with Memoranda of Understanding with both Lovey Pharmacy and Dr. TU. The relationship between the University of Nottingham and BP Healthcare has brought real, tangible benefits to healthcare education in Malaysia. Indeed, almost 250 undergraduate students from the university have undergone work placements with BP Healthcare companies. And countless more have benefited from BP Healthcare management and healthcare professionals visiting our campus and sharing their experiences with our students. My only regret is that we haven't yet found a way to collaborate with Garvey's fine dining French restaurant. I and other colleagues at the University of Nottingham have had the pleasure of knowing Dato Bey for a number of years, and one of the things which has shone through is the importance that Dato Bey attaches to family. When asked by the magazine Tatler how he built BP Healthcare to be the healthcare giant that it is today, his response was, "I didn't do it alone, I owe it all to my staff and to my family." Dato Bey married Datin Po Lay Si Inipo Perak in 1981, and they have been blessed with 4 children. Many people are unaware that the BP in BP Healthcare actually represents the union of the family names Bey and Po. And in recent years, the BP Healthcare Group has become more of a combined family enterprise, with all of Dato Bey's children being heavily involved in the management of the company's core businesses at some point. However, this does not mean that Dato Bey gives his children an easy ride. Indeed, he has been quoted as saying, "When I need to be a father, I put on my father hat. When it comes to business, I put on my business hat. I switch between the two regularly." Dato Bey's main diversion from business is polo. He has said that polo is like business because both are very difficult and you cannot do either without passion. The polo team was established in 1989, and since then it has had a great deal of success. They were the first team from Asia to ever play in Palermo, Buenos Aires, and the BP team also won the Copa Master in 2001. All of Dato Bey's children are also keen polo players, and the family have been able to travel the world playing polo, including some notable games against Prince William, Duke of Cambridge, and Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex. Dato Bey is a philanthropist. He has supported various charity organisations and institutions, both locally and internationally. These include the Nelson Mandela Laureus Sports Foundation, focusing on the power of sports to unite. He has also single-handedly donated 2 buildings, one to the Perak Chinese Specialist Hospital and the other to the University of Virginia, USA. Dato Bey is also a past committee member of the Perak Chinese Maternity Hospital, and he was also the founder and past president of the Malaysian Association of Private Medical Laboratories. In 2002, Dato Bey was conferred the Knight Companion of the Esteemed Order of the Crown of Pahang, which carries the title Dato, in the Sultan of Pahang's birthday honours. It gives us great pleasure to add to this and other prestigious awards by conferring an honorary degree from the University of Nottingham here at our pioneering university campus in Malaysia. Pro Vice Chancellor and Provost, to you and to the whole congregation, I present Dato Bey Chun Tuan as eminently worthy of the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa.
By the authority of the University of Nottingham vested in my office, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa. Congratulations. continue with the conferment of degrees and the award of diplomas and certificates. By the authority of the University of Nottingham vested in my office, I admit the candidates presented today and those commended to their degrees, diplomas and certificates in absentia. I once again call upon Professor Andrew Morris to present the graduands in his faculty for their degrees.
Pro Vice-Chancellor and Provost, to you and to the congregation, I present these students in my faculty for the following degrees. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Computer Science, Kim Chiang. Christopher Macavinta El Fagali. Go Bin Fun. Wan Ning Gan. Javed Ayub Khan. Imad Hussain Malik. Fatin Fahana Mohammed Nazri. Naim Mohammed Rice. Kang Lun Poon. Heng Yi Tay. Computer Science and Management Studies, Hui Ying Lim. Michal Siraj. Psychology, Ili Suhana Ahmed Ramadzi. Pooja Anand. Afreen Ashfaq. Daniel Azmi Sharin. Brian Wee Seng Chu. Omidreza Fani. Nurain Natasha Fauzi. Shirley Fu. Diane Natasha George. Sheena Nalani Johnson. Nur Kamarina Shafika Jufri. Nur Fatini Kamarazman. Kityi Vivian Kuhn. Shengren Lai. Hui Xiu Lu. Main Loy. Paran Matter. Nur Kamalia Akila Mohammed Hazni. Sabah Noor. Li Ying So. Tayaba Tasil Sharif. Suk Yi Tam. Wei Xian To. Shamini Basu. Psychology and Cognitive Neuroscience, Rini Mary Maman. Sahu Anis. Sandra Adai Kalasami. Putri Amelia Amarudi. Anik Faidi Azizi. Zong Tian Chi. Pei Wen Chong. Zieng Chong. Ching Mun Alicia Fu. Hanisa Anais Haizan. Natasha Hajja Najmuddin. Nur Zahira Hazaruddin. Nurain Shahira Hisham. Nuraiza Kamal Ruzaman. Camelia Isyani Kamarudzaman. Fatima Mahmood Kamali. Farah Dahlia Khalid. Jasmine Kawai Lee. Joanne Zhu En Long. Nuraza Mohammed Fazar. Fatin Amira Mohammed Arif. Amira Masera Mohammed Don. Anita R. Visvanathan. Krishalini Rajagumar. Zinyi Tan. Wan Fazana Wan Hamdi. Wan Noran Wan Rosamond. Nurul Ain Zulfaka. Software Engineering. Mustafa Osama Mustafa Abdul Razak. Chan Ho Chong. Hazwi Shazwan Hatsalam. Nisali Sanara Kularatni. Nick Mohammed Faiz Mansour. Hanisa Mohammed Radzi. Mohammed Faiz Mohammed Rashidi. Adil Afdal Mohammed Yusuf. Keng Len Ng. Durai Naidu Ranganazan. Mohammed Fahan Adli Rosni. King Wang Xiu. Mohammed Amir Son. Kai Wen Wong. Wayne San Wong. For the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, School of Psychology, Aiswan Lee. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Software Engineering, Swet Lee Tan. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours, Psychology and Cognitive Neuroscience, Zhu Tian Lim. Jun Cheng Hui. For the degree of Bachelor of Science with Honours Software Engineering, Chong Kang Lo.
I now call upon Yang Berbahagia Dato V Chun Chuan to address the congregation. Dato.
Good morning, Professor Graham Kendall, Pro Vice Chancellor and Provost, Professor Fong Sim On, Vice Provost for Teaching and Learning, Professor Deborah Hall, Vice Provost for Research, Knowledge Exchange, ladies and gentlemen, friends, families, students, and alumni. Congratulations to all graduates, including your loved one, your parents, relatives, friends, for your success. I'm extremely honored and touched by this great traditional ceremony. Thank you, University of Nottingham, for the recognition of my work and for awarding me the honorary Doctor of Law. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you how our partnership came about between University of Nottingham and BP Healthcare Group. Lovely Pharmacy, which is part of BP Healthcare Group of company, has been collaborating with University of Nottingham since 2014 in promoting and encouraging cooperation in the field of pharmacy education. As a result of this successful partnership, Nottingham University extended another collaboration with Dr. To You last year, which is also part of BP Healthcare Group. Dr. To You is a leading telehealth provider that provides on-demand healthcare services across Malaysia, Singapore, and the Philippines, and soon, hopefully, globally. Ladies and gentlemen, having your parents to witness your graduation is a great and memorable day, which some don't really realize, but not me, because this is the first time my mom, 91 years of age, and my family made it to my graduation. All my 4 degrees, only the last one, my family made it. They never attended any of my graduation ceremony before. And my mom sometimes wondered whether I graduated, because I never display my graduation cert and photos. But not my children. I have all my 4 children photos displayed on coming to my house, going through the staircase, one after another. I'm more proud of my children than myself. Dear graduate, please be appreciative and grateful to your parents for taking their trouble witnessing your graduation and getting everyone stressed out, traveling to the university, especially those from far and overseas. I'm speaking through experience. My graduation journey is very different from most of you graduates. I come from a small town business family where education was not my parental priority. During my era, tertiary education was a big thing, equivalent to luxury items. Telling others how many children study tertiary education, especially overseas, is like telling others how wealthy you are, or how clever is your family if studying at local public university like MU and Singapore U. Helping out in their business is more important to keep the family going. In those days, we do not have foreign worker agencies or FOMIMA, and everyone in the family must help out, working at the early age of 10, assisting my brother selling fruits by the roadside, and how we call it childhood labor abuse, has proven to be useful training to me to be an entrepreneur today. You know, my father said we are wholesaler in fruits, and fruits are perishable. If we don't deliver all the goods, they are all turned bad. And we were told, go out and lay on the fruits. And we learned how to sell things quick. And that's how it built my life, all about turnaround time. I learned that skill. As BP Healthcare founder for almost 40 years, but I look 39. I have various businesses from BP Healthcare to hospitality, industry, and property development. I would like to share some of my life experiences on how to make a difference and to differentiate yourself from the market. This morning, I listened to our past speaker. They were only focusing you to job market. But you listen to me, you are not going to follow the job market. I want you to be an entrepreneur, be a boss. All my 4 children, we come from a small business family, but we are all trained to be a tauke. You know? And my 4 children are all tauke of their own right. And I hope when I finish my speech, you go out, don't look for a job, look for business. I would like to share what are all the things that I've done since after graduation. I got my job. When I went out for my job, my brother gave me $80. That's your life. Good luck to you. And my mom told me, when you work for people, please love your boss. That's the only word my mom here telling me. Loving your boss means you got to work very hard. Don't be just natural. Don't demand, just work and make the fellow happy. Within 14 months, I built up the company for my boss, and my boss saw me very passionate and very hardworking and asked me, why don't you buy over the company? And I did it. Within 14 months of working with my boss, I did a management buyout MBO. I went to the bank, Malayan Banking, and asked the bank manager, I need some money to take over the company. And my bank manager asked, you want a term loan or overdraft? I was a trained scientist. I know nothing about accounts. You know, I don't know what is term loan, what is overdraft. I just need the money. And I got the money, pay my boss, and that was in 1981. But to make it auspicious, I signed up the agreement 1182. So I always remember how many years I've gone through as a boss. And that was 1991. And in 1997, I started my venture capital on a company, Rubber Track, which is doing rubber products. And this company turned up, changed the business trend and became an investment house. And today they own 2 public listed companies, which is also market cap multi-billion, a billion, sorry. And 1991, I started Pantai Hospital Ipoh as a founder shareholder. Subsequently, Khazanah bought over this group and requested me to sell to them so that they have better control. Faithfully to my country, I gave it to our GLC and pocket my money happily. A lot of money. And 1993, I started, the state government gave me a 1,500 acres of land in Ipoh to develop the integrated city, and I came up with all the concept. And I got my friend in from Bandar Sunway Sindiran Berhad in 1993. And the partnership made Bandar Sunway Sindiran Berhad become Sunway City Berhad. So these are the 4 businesses I did, and all of them turned 100% successful, and collectively they are multi-billion market cap. I own a little bit of shares. I often juggle all my resources, time and effort on all this startup, my dear friend, startup, without money, and never thought of money in my pursuit on my dreams. And that today, after 30 over years, all multi-billion companies. Financial institution, they finance me because of what they call character financing. They trusted me, I don't know why. And from the bank, from the suppliers, and my staff, they have faith and trust in me. Same like Nottingham today, they have trust in me and gave me a PhD degree. Thank you. I think you won't make a mistake. I will make you feel proud. I'm also very happy Perak State is enjoying the fruits of all my creation, and likewise nationwide enjoying healthcare services provided by PP Healthcare Group. I'd like to say to be a super duper entrepreneur, all of you graduate, you must be independent thinkers, game changer. Be creative and unique in your products or services. Be prepared for enormous level of challenges. All down, only one up. So you have to live with it. A lot of pressure, mental, physical, financial. The important thing is perseverance. Don't give up easily. Millions of reasons to fail you. Passion at your work, as what Professor Fong was saying. With love, you see no difficulties. Don't get confused along the way to your target. Like when you were at sperm or egg stage. Keep moving up. And today, you see you are successful graduate. From the millions of sperm, you made it. Now, you are going to another stage. So, successful entrepreneur, if you have done it and then you become successful, don't be contented. Whatever you have, if you aspire to be great, as our Professor Graham was saying, 15 years expiry. I was listening, though I have a bad hearing problem. Somehow I pick up. You know, whenever you are successful, you have a good service or product. Don't lay back. You got to continue. When you come out in this world, you got to keep on fighting. Go-getter, as always, mentally occupied. They feel uneasy when they are too free. Like the Chinese saying, got to work like crazy to xiao. And keep improving before others catch up with you. As I just now mentioned, from the sperm you make it and becomes a graduate. In business the same. Don't let the other sperm make it. 2 sperm comes in, it become a twin. 3 sperm become a triplet. So they are crowded in the market. And in the business, you make sure you are the only one. You control the market. Sorry, you have to be selfish if you are in the business. Number 3, be fearful of absolute. Avoid the expiry cycle as mentioned by our Professor Randall. So to avoid that is by engaging technology to improve your business operation. Like in BP Healthcare Group, we introduced digital healthcare to provide seamless experience for our operation and to user. Be the first at all time. You know, even my business, my knowledge, I have consistently having fear. Why? In this healthcare business, one day, one guy come out with a chip. The chip technology you insert into your body. You don't need doctors, blood tests, and all stuff. The chip gives you real time your body health condition. So you don't need to see anybody. And that real time is connected to your assigned doctors and all the medical team. And then you see the chip will reduce medical health costs. There is always a solution. People are talking about healthcare costs keep escalating. With this chip, medical health costs will come down and I will be bankrupt. So I would build up my company big enough some more and I'll sell in a listed company. Now, it's still not a time, but someday the chip technology will come in. Entrepreneur. After graduation, you are entering a different phase in life. Life is like snake and ladder board game, whether you like it or not. Do you know what is snake and ladder board game? Our era, we all know. You see, this side all know, that side may not know, because they play with the computer and the handphone. Do all these graduate knows chess and the chess game, snake and ladder? Yeah. There's no intelligence, right? It's all pure luck and fate. Some people reach the destination faster, others whole night didn't finish it. There are too many snakes poisoning your attempt. So the ups and downs beyond your control. You got to hang on. Don't drop off. To be successful, you need more ladders to favor you up. I'm a Buddhist. We believe in karma. Today, I'm standing here on stage receiving my PhD is because I believe my family and ancestors must have done a lot of good things in their life, and that have ultimately blessed me. Mom, okay. I never ever consider myself smarter than anyone else, but because I'm always blessed with more ladder than snake, so I made it. My advice to all graduates today is not to be too restrictive and over-dependent on your training or degree you have earned. Be adaptable and flexible to market requirements. You can be successful in many ways. Your degree is just a passport that demonstrated that you are educable and tradable. So companies see you with a degree, okay, I can trade you up. But I'm here to talk to you, not to work for people. Be a boss. Your training and your perspective at work can be different from others, and your ideas add values to the job or business. Dear graduate, when you walk out of this University of Nottingham, I advise you to do good and not harm to your family, friends, society, and the country. Please make us feel proud of you, of having you as our alumni. We are all alumni today. Lastly, I would like to thank the University of Nottingham for the honor. I will not disappoint your trust in me. Thank you, and all the best to everyone. Congratulations, parents.
Wow, that's okay. Next time Stephen Dawkins is updating his Shellfish Gene book, I'll recommend that he talks to you, because I'm sure you've got some advice on that. When we ask our honorees to give a speech, we always ask them to give advice to our graduates. And I think the advice is unequivocal. Go and start a company. That might upset Lovely, because she'd take some of our graduates into, into her company. I think the one question that we would have after that, and you can answer this over lunch, is did you take the overdraft or the term or the term loan? But I would like to have my personal thank you for this honour. It is well deserved, and thank you very much for that. Thank you to you, and thank you to your wonderful family for all the support you've given the University of Nottingham over the last, all the time that I've been here. So thank you very much to you and to your family. Thank you. Not sure I can follow that with my closing remarks, but I'll try. So you are now graduates. Congratulations, you now join an alumni of the University of Nottingham. They number 270,000 plus, and you can't go anywhere in the world, I would challenge you, without finding another alumni from the University of Nottingham. So take advantage of that as you start the next phase of your life. If you're ever somewhere and you need a connection, try and link up with our other alumni that are out there. And also leverage on us. Our graduates are very sought after in the world, so if you do go and work for a company, if you do go and work for a company, then please come and talk to us about getting our graduates introduced to our company. And I make that offer not for our benefit. Our graduates, and you're them now, are very employable. So we don't really need to go out there. We get approached by companies all the time. But it puts you in a unique position within a company if you can, talk to your alma mater and come and talk to us about utilising our graduates. And also internships, and also access to our research. And actually, the BP Healthcare Group, we've been doing that for a number of years. Some of our graduates work within that group. They interact with our students, and I think it's very good for us, and hopefully it's very good for BP Healthcare. The other thing I would ask you to do, you've got a degree or a certificate from the University of Nottingham now. As you walk out that door, you should be very proud of that. But it doesn't do anything for you other than give you some leverage, and you have to work hard to make that. No one's outside that door waiting with a job or a term loan or an overdraft to help you set up a company. You've got to still do it yourself, so you've got to work hard. And as you go through the next stage of your life, I would ask you to consider giving back, as Dato Bay mentioned. It's not all about yourself or your friends and family. There's many other people that you can help. So I would encourage you to maybe mentor people. Many people out there aspire to be sitting where you are, getting a degree from one of the top 100 universities in the world. And actually, to many people, that is accessible. They just don't know how to do it. So they might just need a word of encouragement. They might just need for you to say, you can do it, just apply. The worst they can say is no. But we get applications from many people. When we talk to them, they didn't expect to get an offer, but they did. So if you can help people, maybe not less fortunate than yourselves, but actually maybe not the confidence that you've got, if you can help them in that way. I'd also ask you, as Dato Bay also said, be an ambassador for the university. We want to be proud of you, and we want you to be proud of us, and hopefully that's a relationship that will develop over the years. So please be an ambassador for the university. But more than that, actually try and help those who are less fortunate than yourselves. You are some of the greatest minds in the world. You are graduating from a top university, one of the 1% in the world, one of the top 100 in the world. So people will look up at you as if you've achieved something during your life, which you certainly have. So please bear that in mind, and maybe try and help some of those that are less fortunate than yourselves the people who haven't had the opportunities that you've had. So try and give back to society. I'd like to finish with a couple of quotes. I quoted from Steve Jobs earlier on, and Von Sim also quoted from Steve Jobs. I'm a computer scientist, and I know the audience that are sitting out there, and so I can't really go through a graduation quote from Steve Jobs without quoting from Bill Gates, because otherwise people tend to make decisions on what side of the fence I sit on. But actually, Steve Jobs did a fantastic job, and he made some great quotes. But Bill Gates also made some great quotes. And he was really, when he made this quote, was thinking about how you should look at the rest of your life, not just as a professional accomplishment. And he said, "I hope you will judge yourselves not on your professional accomplishments alone, but also on how well you have addressed the world's deepest inequities, and on how well you have treated people a world away who have nothing in common with you but their humanity." And I think that sums up much better than I can say about trying to help others and give back as you enter the next stage of your life. But I'm not just a computer scientist, I do like other things. So I'll leave you with a final quote from one of our modern day philosophers. This person said, and it echoes the thoughts of Bill Gates, this person said, "The world is so competitive, aggressive and selfish, but during the time we spend it here, we must be all but that." And that was from the well-known modern day philosopher, Jose Mourinho. I am a Chelsea fan. I was upset when he went to Manchester United. It's not the time to discuss that now. I would now, before I formally close the ceremony, I'd now like to invite all of our graduates to stand. And I would invite you to turn to your left. So you are now facing all your friends and family who have supported you over the last 1, 2, 3, 4 more years, both financially and emotionally, and probably in many other ways. And I would like to give you the opportunity to say thank you to them for all that support you've given. So please make your thanks. Okay. Just take a moment to look at these people. They're emotionally drained after what you've put them through. Many of them are financially drained after what you've put them through. And that is probably, we do a number of these ceremonies every year, and if I'm honest, that's the worst one I've heard so far. So this is your chance to redeem yourself and actually say a proper thank you to the people in front of you. So let's try again.
Thank you, Mom.
See by their faces that they were slightly more happy with that. I'll let you say your thank yous later on, maybe in a bit more effusive way. Okay, I now declare this congregation closed. Please can I invite everybody else to stand while we play the national anthems of the United Kingdom and Malaysia.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, please be seated. On behalf of the Vice Chancellor of the University of Nottingham, Professor Shira West, and Professor Graham Kendall, Provost and CEO of the University of Nottingham, Malaysia, we would like to express our heartfelt gratitude for your kind presence at this ceremony. To our guests, please join us for the buffet reception after this. Please remember to present your tickets to the ushers as you enter the buffet area. For your kind information, the reception will be served till 1 p.m. today. Thank you all for making this event such a joyous and memorable one for the graduates and the family. Thank you and have a nice